Give it an A, B, C, or D.
Would you pass this act? Is this something that you feel is sufficient?
No, absolutely not. No. Well, they curb in part, at least for new water licenses, but existing water licenses, there's not much government can do about them. But there's no expropriation power, which I think is quite amazing, since government can expropriate private land and water rights are not even property interests. Cancellation power is very limited, only if the water right has not been used for 3 years and there's no reasonable possibility that it will be used. Securing sufficient in-stream flow, well, there are a few tools in the Act, but they are really quite limited. Recognizing Indigenous water rights and securing water for them, the Act does not do that. Securing water for drinking, washing, and other basic human needs, household use right does have the highest priority, so it does that at least in part. Regulating water with quantity and quality, no, the Act doesn't do that. Conjunctive use, groundwater, surface water, I think maybe government tries to do that when it's consistent with but there's no requirement. Incorporating watershed governance and management, certainly not formally, although there are all kinds of things like watershed organizations that work towards this. Clarifying rules regarding alternative sources, wastewater, so on, rainwater, and so on. No, but the government plans to add these into the Water Act. Incorporating climate change and mitigation adaptation, sorry, it does not do that. One thing that we would like to see prevail is the rule of law, and that the legislation should be clear as to what occurs in an emergency, how long an emergency can exist, especially if the government has a right to declare that provisions of the Water Act don't apply. I'd certainly want to have provisions to protect in-stream flow needs, also recognition of Indigenous water rights and ways to meet those water rights would be a couple of things. Climate change provisions. Climate change is not just an emergency anymore. It's a reality that we have to deal with.